Hey, it's just after sundown here in Maine. It's a really pretty sunset. It's got some light pinks and stuff over the river, so it's beautiful. But I wanted to get this out to you. This is a summary on Sunday evening. It's 5:22 p.m. here as the time of recording, but it's going to take me a little while to edit it and get it up. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a Margaritas and Mysteries tonight or not. But there's some information here about what's going on. And Sandman sent me something about taxes that I will read to you, but we don't know until it happens. So take all of this with a grain of salt. We really won't know because the taxes on this exchange, if it's done now, for example, if it's done tomorrow's President's Day, if it's done now, it won't take effect. You won't be to your taxes that you file in April of 2025. So there's still a long time and a long window for the government to change the tax laws and tax it differently. So that's my qualification on it as a former CPA, watching the tax laws be changed a lot, working for Pricewaterhouse, seeing the tax laws be changed a lot. So they do change. And with something like this, you got to believe this government is probably going to want to get as much money as they can because they like to give all of our money away to other people that are not us. They like to take it out of our pockets and give it to the less fortunate, right? So what do you think about that? Comment down below if you agree. So this is from Newshound Guru Jeff. He was also the video I played on my last video that you needed to hear. There was lots of details in there. So this is from him again. It says the Prime Minister, I don't know his last name. I just know him as Jeff because my brother's name is Jeff. And I have talked to him. He has contacted me and he wanted me to promote his Patreon through my YouTube channel early on in my days as my channel started to grow. I think after it got over 15,000. I listened and we talked and he was very nice and I appreciate him and I appreciate him contacting me, but I didn't end up doing anything because I don't really know him that well and I'm not a part of his Patreon, so I can't speak to it. So if anybody else can speak to it, comment down below, right? But it says, article, the Prime Minister of Iraq receives a new invitation without an appointment to visit Washington. Sudani will be visiting Washington after they've revalued their currency to discuss getting their possessions back from the United States, such as all of their OPEC oil dollars. We have other collateral and assets on them. We need to give them back. That's the reason he'll be going to Washington after the rate has changed. I can't confirm that, but that's per Jeff. Frank 26, Iraq boots on the ground, Firefly. Sudani talked about going to Washington, D.C. to meet and get all oil reserves and assets from oil held in the U.S. Treasury. Frank said, dang, like they don't have enough money. Wow. Mountain Goat, question. We all have like $25,000 Dinar notes. After the 2 extra zeros are gone and we can go and we can go to Forex we will have problems cashing them in at the new Forex rate after the month is over, Mountain Goat. So there is no time period set for exchanging our dinars outside of Iraq. However, having said this, we must refer back to Dr. Shabibi's media news interview years ago when he said in about 10 years after the reinstatement, the CBI would null and void these 3 zero notes, not 2 zero notes that we hold. That's 10 years ago. Things have changed. Mark Z, he says, we have no one in the UK to help us with our exchange. Mark Z's comment was, your process will work almost identical to ours in the US. Now, Mark Z is a very big proponent of those centers, going there and following whatever they give you. You know, my procedures, or if you haven't heard, mine are called the Freedom Strategies, where you can, make your own destiny. If you're into that, you will comment down below. We're having groups Wednesday and Thursday at 1 or Saturday at 4. So you can take your choice of those times. We're also doing a debt cancellation tomorrow night, Monday night, on February 19th, which is my anniversary to YouTube, February 19th of 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain. So if you need that, if your debt is strangling you, you should take part of that. I mean, I've got amazing results from using my strategies, from an equity credit line over $100,000 that was written off to many credit cards settled at the time when I was making money. One was a $20,000 credit card settled for 5. One was a $15,000 credit card settled for 3. And then later on, as I moved forward and my business had been destroyed and all that, what happened was I was able to get a complete write-off recently, as of a year and a half ago, of a $17,000 balance, completely written off, didn't have to pay anything more. And we're in that window of time right now where you can take advantage of those strategies. So get on that debt cancellation strategy. So Mark is a fan of those. I am not, as you know. That's where we differ, but that's because I'm not a part of a group. He is, right? So groups have a whole different strategy. You need to understand. A lot of people got an SKR for their currency, and so they are under the agreements of that group that may have been made on behalf of them. So he has to abide by that in order to get his money. So that's just a different circumstance. I'm not part of a group. I'm an independent. If you're still independent, you're not part of a group, or you have your independent currency outside of a group, you could do both. I'm just saying. So with regard to, he's saying, I hear the international banks will also issue contacts and numbers for you to exchange, to go to a center to redeem, which would be run by the government probably. Or you can use my strategies and, again, work directly with the banks. That's my, when it happens, you will get notices to which banks are handling those redemptions. Yep. You either take their notice and get whatever they're willing to give you as a handout, or you can take your own freedom strategy. just making it very clear the differences between other people's processes and mine. The process for you to exchange your currency, Frank 26. When you decide it's time, you're going to go to Chase. That's Frank's opinion. You're going to go to Chase. You can go to other banks. Nothing wrong with that, but I would suggest you go to Chase. What's the chief executive officer of Chase doing in Iraq right now? Opening 10 Chase branches. I've talked about this often. Jamie Dimon is the chief CEO of JP Morgan Chase, and he has been heavily involved in this. He appears to be the chosen one, which in previous years, it used to be Bank of America, or then it was Wells Fargo. Now it's JP Morgan Chase, which is why use my suggestions Wednesday or Thursday, 1 o'clock. It's worth seeing another take on this, or Saturday at 4. Militia Man, here's the Mr. IT bank story. I like this bank story, but again, it's all about Chase. Why? Because they're the ones handling these centers for the government, in my opinion. They're combined with the government. They're working with the CBI. They're working with the Iraqi government, the PM al-Sudani. Of course, they're working with our government to make sure this gets done right. I'm just saying, the government uses its resources. So, Mark C. Militia Man's bank story. Here's one of two. My wife and I were looking for a Chase branch that JP Morgan Wealth Management printed on the door, as well as Chase. I'm in a large metropolitan area. We found one near us. My brother took it upon himself to call the branch yesterday. He specifically asked for a private banker. My brother asked him if they were exchanging foreign currencies and if he was aware of the Iraqi revalue of their currency. The private banker said yes, he was, and that they would be exchanging at that location, and names and numbers he's taking will get priority over anybody else that calls or walks in after the revalue. As soon as it hits 4X, he's going to start making phone calls. He told my brother that they were expecting a number of people to be coming in, and we're preparing for that. A bunch of new people with wealth is exactly what he told my brother. They're planning on having police officers available at their locations for those customers that are planning on leaving the establishments with large sums of cash. Militia Man added, Is it a coincidence that this expert came out tonight and talked about the deletion of the zeros? We're going to find out. It's pretty interesting stuff. So what do you think? Comment down below. That was Militia Man's story, and it's quite impressive. Thank you, Militia Man, for bringing that. Mark C. It said not a lot of RV news, but there is tremendous pressure from Sudani to remove all the U.S. presence of Iraq, both financial restrictions and the military. Sudani urges ending foreign presence in Iraq, not just military, but it is time for Iraq to be autonomous and sovereign, so they want the removal of U.S. forces, and also financially. They want the U.S. military to leave immediately because of their destabilizing effect, and to reorganize the U.S.-Iraq relationship financially, which is probably why he's planning on coming over here after the RV to get his assets back. It kind of tracks. That was between yesterday and today, right? I'm just trying to tie these things together. That's what I do. I do the summaries so I can tie it together using my very intense, diverse experience in this area when I audited banks for Price Waterhouse. Ernst & Young was over there helping them, making sure their financial systems were in place correctly. When you're changing financial systems, you need a company of that stature with those kinds of staff that specialize in that. I myself have those special skills, or I did in my previous life before God got a hold of me. So I'm using those to bring to bear on the kingdom, and the kingdom is going to manage things a little bit differently than typically people of the world would. And if you believe in that, if you're a Christian, you should pay attention to my strategies that were kingdom born. kingdom led, kingdom downloaded, whatever you want to call it. God gave me these strategies to share with his kingdom, which is why there's a small fee for them, but we're doing groups to save you cost. It's $55 for the strategies. There's 3 steps: pre-RV, post-RV, and exchange day strategy. Kingdom strategies. This is Fun Lou. Seek the expertise of an asset protection specialist, hiring a team, tax professional, wealth management attorneys. Always, I suggest the same thing, and I do it specifically in a 10-step process after the exchange. Newshound Guru Jeff, everything's happening exactly when it's happening for a very specific reason. This is his perspective. Iraq is bringing some very critical steps forward, specifically within the month of March. He believes it's March of this year. I'm qualifying. Article: The Central Bank of Iraq decides to restore the mechanism for financing Iraq's foreign trade starting next March. March was not chosen coincidentally. Kuwait and Iraq have the same budget period, which is April 1st. Some of you who know Jeff and are on his Patreon, maybe you can tell me, clarify, does he mean next March as in March 25 or March 24? I don't know. I'm not in contact with him right now. And then there's New Sound Guru BGG. There was an article, The Law. The region requests American support to secede from Iraq. Of course they want America out. In this circumstance and narrow window, we are the ones holding back the state of law, a.k.a. Maliki's former Iranian-backed henchman, from continuing to loot the wealth of Iraq. I don't know what that means. He's a little off the world in this summary. It's no longer a rumor that Iraq is entering the World Trade Organization. Vietnam is part of the World Trade Organization. Their currency is worthless. Does that mean the Iraqi dinar is worthless, can join the WTO? Yeah. Does that mean the Iraqi dinar is going to stay worthless? No. The whole world and the United States Treasury worked with the CBI. Guys, we've been watching over the years. The CBI gave a talk at the United Nations in New York City last January. Iraq has been lauded they were in Davos with a representative from the CBI and also sitting next to Jamie Dimon in Davos. They've been hosting all these other countries, putting together contracts. They've been working with China on the Belt and Road Initiative. In fact, some of our coalition forces are there to make sure those things go forward safely. They've been lauded as being very ethical, very sound, very economically prosperous, and stable. So this is the time for the Iraqi dinar to revalue. Plus, my Holy Spirit told me that it's done. So I'm expecting this to be done any day, any hour. It's up to God. God's timing is always perfect. You'll understand his timing better from the other side of it than you will at this side when he hasn't done it yet. Trust me, I've learned God's timing is not my timing. So if you're a Christian and you believe in God and you believe he brought you to this, you should subscribe and tap the bell to this channel, because I'm the one who brings that total perspective. Look at this. Isn't that a pretty night sky behind us? So this came from Sandman. He's my unique contact over there. He's part of the coalition forces. He's high up in the military. He sought me out and started bringing me intel that is truth, facts, and optimism, the way my channel rolls. Truth, facts, and optimism. I don't deal in theories. I don't tell you it's going to happen then, now. God just told me to tell you it's actually done so you could prepare. So this is part of your preparation. This is talking about taxes. So let me read what he sent. Does an individual have to compute gains on a foreign currency transaction? So I'm going to read what he sent. Exchange gain of an individual from the disposition of foreign currency in a personal transaction is not taxable, provided that the gain realized does not exceed $200. Provided that the gain realized does not exceed $200. I don't know. Let's see. I'm thinking if you trade in one note, it's going to way exceed that. Even if it comes out at 76 cents, one $25,000 note is $19,000. I'm just saying. If you delete the zeros, it's even more than $200. I didn't do the math, but I'm just saying. This simplification measure is intended to eliminate an individual's obligation to compute and report gains arising from exchanges of foreign currencies that are small in amount and that are associated with personal business travel, as well as other non-business activities. The term personal transaction refers to any transaction other than one-to-one respect to which properly allocable expenses are deductible as a trade or a business. Meaning, if you have a trade or business, there's a profit and loss statement where if you have gains, you also deduct your expenses till you get to a net result. That's what that's talking about. Or expenses incurred in the production of income. Again, if you're producing income, there's always expenses incurred with it. Other than expenses incurred in connection with taxes. It also refers to an individual's currency exchange transactions that are entered into connection with business travel. I haven't been traveling. I sought this currency out after the good Lord told me to buy it. have you been traveling? That's your circumstance. The rules under Section 988 apply to the extent that transactions entered into by an individual and are not personal transactions, i.e. transactions where the expenses attributable to the transactions would be deductible as a trade or business expense or expenses for the production of income. None of that applies to you if you've been holding foreign currency for a long time and you're not in the trade or business of that. I know a lot of people are in the trade or business of currency because other people represent and sell the currency. I have my good friend Kevin. He has his website. He's selling some currency. So I don't know about him. He's a different instance. But I'm somebody who doesn't sell currency. I don't sell gold and silver. I don't represent any of that. Don't make any money of that. So this is a personal holding, which if your gain's over 200, they leave it open to be taxed. Okay, somebody else wouldn't read it that way. I'm telling you that this government, the way it's spending money, is going to be looking to tax this, and they can change the tax laws. They have a long time to do it. God bless. What do you think? God bless. Comment down below. I love you all with the love of Christ. I hope you appreciate my wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that comes from above and my previous work experience that I didn't throw away when I got into the kingdom. I didn't give my mind away when I got into the kingdom. I kept my financial expertise. Plus, I was a business owner, earned as much as I had a $5 million asset, earning $10,000 a month in passive residual income. I've been filing my own taxes for the past 21 years. Why? Because I know how to do that. I know how to help you save money too on your taxes. However, all this is just entertainment purposes only. This is not construed to mean that you should invest based on this information. I'm just a casual observer. God bless you. Have a good day. May the peace of Christ always be with you. Amen.